Hello, Misfit. Hello, Danny. Hello, Ryan Campbell. Gavin, Brian Wake, Aaron and Kendrick. Vader and Jim. Fishy. Thanks for all the donations the other night, Fishy. Box of chocolates. Miss Lupa. Hello, Chris. Star. Be sure to click the thumbs up. Twitchy Day Player. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the new studio down here in this village that I currently live in. Welcome to Theory Chat, where we talk about all the latest Resident Evil news, but then take it one step farther and talk about what impact that might have on the game, what things might be coming, and guessing and guessing and guessing, and not actually spoilers, but theories. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining today. Today we're going to talk about the Tokyo Game Show. And basically, just to give you a recap, if you were busy this weekend, on Friday morning, Capcom did a presentation where they talked for 5 minutes about Resident Evil 8, nothing really that much new, and then showed us a developer video that had some little things inside of it that we found that were some new information, but nothing epic. And then, as we predicted, which is something they've done before, they had another presentation where they just repeated the original one. And during that one, they added a new thing. It was only in Japanese, where a guy played the demo, but they didn't show us the demo. So it was the second day was not that exciting, and really, there's a couple things to pull out from what the guy said while he was playing through translations, but really, they didn't really give us much, and all the new stuff we got was last week or 2 weeks ago in September when they did the trailer and the screenshots for the PS5 thing. So, yeah, so this is the new setup for Resident Evil Village, and we'll be adding different things. You might notice a few I don't know if they're Easter eggs, but a few things that are going to pop on the screen at different times. And we'll keep adding to that just like we did in the RPD. The original RPD was just the RPD, and then like Nemesis started walking around and stuff like that. What's up, Fifth Survivor? What's up, Tanner? If you guys want to be like those guys and get the custom emojis, be sure to join the Zom Squad. And this is, you can cancel at any time, so if I disappeared or I have to do a lot of work, you know, you can wait until I come back. And follow up on the social medias. We hit 5,000 followers on Twitter. And then one of my tweets was just a picture of Leon, and it got 800 retweets, which is, I don't think I've ever had anything close to over 200 before. So, and I think it was like everybody in a different country because all the replies were in different languages. But what's up, Max, Mehi, Michael, Zigzag, Grave? Thanks for joining. Millie. All right. So Yeah, after all that Tokyo Game Show stuff, this is now what appears on the Resident Evil Village official website. And the next update is coming this winter. I haven't really looked at the calendar yet because it's not going to be in like a week. So, I'll check the calendar. And with COVID and everything, I don't know what video game shows are still happening and which video game shows are not happening and how they're going to do it. But as the weeks go on, we'll start to look at the different types of shows. Some people were already tweeting about some Razer show or something, but I don't know about that. And then the other thing to notice here, and we'll talk about it later, I guess, but it says PS5, Xbox X, Steam. It doesn't say PS4 or any of that. And then you can't really see it on the screen. Whoop. Uh-oh. I hope that didn't ruin anything. But it says the release date. I just popped it up there on the bottom. 2021. Tentative, so... And it hasn't been rated yet, but that's pretty normal. I'm not too worried about the tentative 2021 because 2021 is 12 months long, and that's a lot of time considering we've got a trailer and they've got what seems to be a lot of... I mean, we've seen a lot of different screenshots, so they've got to be at least somewhat working on it. And while we start out the show, we'll talk about basically 2021 is the Resident Evil 25th anniversary. So this was a big theme at the TGS, actually more of a theme than Village, really. And how many people in the chat played the original Resident Evil game in 1996 when it came out? That's when I played it. We rented it from, it was probably not even Blockbuster. It was probably like local video store. And then, I loved it. It was awesome. Before that, I think I had rented a game called Clock Tower, which was really cool. I can't remember. I vaguely remember that for PS1. And then we got Resident Evil, basically because of the box had a cool guy on it, cool artwork. And then, yeah, basically we had to return the game, and I had to keep playing it because I was just a kid, so I didn't get too far. And then we bought the game at some point. Dervo says Ethan Winters, get it? Yeah, they actually titled the video something bizarre like Winter with Winters, or that's not it, but Max says played in 98, Wake played in 98, E-Monster was born in 96. What's up, Rick? Tanner said that's release date. Yeah, January, that's got to be too soon. April, don't know if April would be April was when... So January 20 whatever is when Resident Evil 7 came out, when Monster Hunter came out, maybe two different Monster Hunters. I can't remember. Resident Evil 2, that's like a big date for Capcom after Christmas is over, and boom, kick off the new year. But then Devil May Cry, I think, was March. Resident Evil 3 was April, so they've shaken it up a little bit. And then you got the COVID thing. I don't know how that worked in Japan. I don't know how many weeks off there were, if any. And yeah, just the amount of stuff really, they just threw Resident Evil 3 at us like really quick. So yeah, I mean it could be any time that we're not sure how far along they are on that. So the 25th anniversary, they came out with this really awesome graphic here. I love this graphic. And a lot of people noticed that it shows... A lot of people were mad that Jack Baker's on there. A lot of people are mad that some other characters are omitted. But really, that poster is just the last three games. So they wanted to, I guess, do the modern characters. So even though it's a 25th anniversary, you'd think that would show Wesker and everything. They made it more about Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3. And I think Jack he doesn't necessarily fit in with all these other characters, but I think that it's just a huge part of the game. And this was their 20th anniversary poster. This is, I guess, kind of what fans were hoping maybe for the 25th poster. But yeah, they would. What are they supposed to just make this poster every 5 years? Hold on a second. Jimmy says got RE1 Director's Cut at a pawn shop. Second PS1 game. Nice. Yeah, so 20th anniversary. It's got all the classic characters on there and the cool logo as well. And by the way, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, be sure to click on the thumbs up. And you guys can tweet me and stuff and let me know about the background or if I need to add things or music or stuff. I swear somebody knocked on my door. And then here's the 25th compared to the 20th. Max says likes the 20 poster better. Yeah, but in this one they kind of did that old style graphic thing, where in this one it's more modern, even the drawings of it or whatever, the renderings, whatever those are. And then, of course, the other thing everybody noticed was this guy, which is Chris Redfield, the old version of Chris Redfield, not the Resident Evil 8 version, the RE7, but like I said, all the characters on here are from these 3 games, so that's why it's not the latest model. That's the real, got to be the real reason why, but yeah, other people have other theories about it, like, is he an imposter? Is RE7 the imposter? Is RE8 the imposter? Are there clones? Really, it's probably just a model change. And this is Chris in Resident Evil 7. And this is Chris in Resident Evil 8. So it kind of looks like maybe it's the same person underneath. But they've obviously changed his features and everything. And he looks really kind of grizzled and older in this one. A lot more like a previous version. Here they are again right next to each other. Oh, sorry. And here are the last 4 of them from the main series. So 5, yeah. You can see it changes each iteration of the game. 7 is obviously the most different of all of them. Rick says it is the same model. Georgie Dandy. And I was actually looking for the other game that guy was in. You had sent that to me at some point a long time ago. So he's fighting like a big monster. I think it was the same guy. And yeah, which one of these 4 is your favorite, Chris? The new one kind of reminds me of like a Cold War, like spy type character. Obviously, RE5 was the cartoon version. 7, maybe they would try to make it more real. And then 6 was kind of, I don't know, kind of less cartoon, more real, but also still in that generation where... Project Awakening. Yeah, I gotta check that out again and see how they made him look in that one. Yuki says he wanted to show the games that were recent for the anniversary. Yeah. And Matthew, we don't do any, we don't go over the spoilers and stuff, so we don't really. There's some other channels that do that. What's up, Venom? I don't know who that is, Zigzag. Max says RE8, I like him. Day Player says, are they really going to do a clone thing? I doubt it. It's just a different version. Chris Redfield. We've also, this weekend, they gave us some information on the characters. So Chris Redfield, this is from the Capcom exact website. So a mainstay of the series since the first Resident Evil, this former STARS member has fought his way through numerous bioterror incidents. He currently works as a specialist for the BSAA, a counter bioterror something organization. And so remember, he was working with Purple Umbrella, which is not what they're called. I can't remember what they're actually called. And then, but he was really, I think in RE7 Not a Hero, it was explained that he was still BSAA. I can't remember, but he's BSAA. And then, next, we've got Ethan and his description. After being swept up into the events of the Baker Estate incident, this regular nobody somehow managed to escape the nightmare alive. Ever since he's lived a quiet existence with his wife Mia under the protection of the BSAA. And this connection shows that Chris is BSAA. BSAA is protecting Ethan. Chris is supposed to be protecting Ethan. And then this happened.
Wrong move! Chris? What the hell?
Take him away.
Chris?
Sorry, Ethan.
Why?
So, Chris, clearly here, takes out Mia. Is it a dream? Is it a clone? Is it... What were the others? Is Chris bad? Is Chris good? And then my thought, we've seen it in movies. We've seen it in Saw. We've seen it in different... a lot of different movies. And it's faking the death. So maybe they're faking it. And Ethan's like, oh my God, what's going on? And everything's going so quick, he doesn't realize it and it's all fake at the end. Or maybe he really did it, because that's the close-up from the thing, but maybe blood packets and blood things. Who knows? Maybe that's not Mia. Maybe that's imposter Mia. And remember, the storyline in Resident Evil 7 is there's this mold stuff, and Evelyn is like the mold, and she was actually controlling Mia through the mold somehow. So when people are like, is Alex Wesker going to be in the game with the mind uploading or whatever, it's got to have something to do with that mold controlling or it could have something to do with that, and Evelyn controlled Mia. Maybe they're controlling Chris that way. A lot of people think maybe Mia was pregnant with some kind of BOW. That kind of doesn't really make sense. That you think they would tell Ethan. This seems like it's a quick, let's get up in the middle of the night, bust down the door, and take him out and get Ethan out of there. Maybe this is to protect Ethan. Maybe because there's also, so we've got the BSAA here. There's the Purple Umbrella. There's other companies. There's Connections Group, and we don't know who Mia was working for. Was she just, there's so many freaking storylines here. So Mia was the caretaker of the little girl who was the BOW. Did she know? Was she involved? Is she really a bad guy? It seemed like she was a bad guy to me. But, yeah, I guess we'll find out later. And what does it have to do with the village? Well, it appears that when they kidnapped Ethan, their car crashed and in a snowstorm or something. And that's how Ethan escapes, and then he stumbles upon the village. But that always happens, too, where they escape something in a movie, and then they happen to be, like, right in the area where everything is happening. So maybe Chris was driving him to that castle, because that's where the umbrella thing is, or the good guys are. Yeah. Do you know about that? Mia is infected. Ethan's also infected, so... And according to the notes in Resident Evil 7, if you get infected, you you're going to die because you're going to age too quick. Like, Evelyn in 3 years went from 10 to 90. So why is Ethan not getting older? Why is Mia not getting older? Is there some serum? I guess there was the serum that maybe cured Ethan and Mia, but did that cure them for good? Because doesn't Mia, I don't know, because Mia later seems to, I don't know. I guess maybe they're technically cured. I didn't think that cure was, I guess I didn't really think about that too much, but yeah. And then we've also got 2 other characters in there with Chris. Are these characters we know? Are they just regular random henchmen? We'll never find out who they actually are. They're just kind of helpers. Or are they characters from a previous game? And then just to go back to Ethan, in the developer interview that they had here for Resident Evil Village at the Tokyo Game Show, they said that they were making Ethan. In the original game, they made Ethan like a boring. They didn't say boring, but he didn't know how to use weapons, even though somehow he mixed weapons and everything. But according to them, didn't know how to use weapons. It was kind of more like you were playing the game than Ethan was playing the game. And then they said they want to discover more about Ethan's character in this game, and this will be his last game, so he'll probably die at the end. Or maybe they'll fly off in a helicopter into the sunset, because that's how they all end. And they said Ethan was the only logical choice for Resident Evil 8. I think fans would disagree. I'm happy about it. I was a big fan of RE7, so... this was another quote that came out of the developer thing, and compared to Resident Evil 7, Village has just as much, if not more, horror. That's what the art director said, but I mean, they say this like every game. They say it's going to be the scariest game ever kind of thing. So I like that they're sticking to the horror instead of action focus, which is what made Resident Evil 7 good. But they are switching it up into more of a occult-like thing. You got witches and vampires and werewolves. You got fairy tales and legends. They're really coming together with a bunch of different styles. They probably have a lot of different influences for this version. Maybe Poltergeist or I always hated those kinds of movies. The one with The Omen. One of the Paranormal Activities, or a couple of them, The Witch, all those different movies, I get those vibes from this. And a lot of people are thinking that Outlast 2 was like over the top, like there's a cult and weird stuff. I don't think this is going to be that like that. This is going to be more Resident Evil-like, obviously, but I don't think they're going to go overboard on that. And I think it's going to all be BOW type of stuff. And then here's the part that everybody watched for 20 minutes. It was a guy playing a game, and then they would do a close-up on his face. And so basically he died 3 times. I think he mentioned something about he picked up a shotgun. There was a big enemy that he had to fight, and he could push a bookcase against the door. If you want to know more about that, follow CVX Freak. Go check his recap out. He translated it on Twitter. And basically what I just said was kind of the highlights of that. But if you want exact specifics, and then I think his final tweet was, and he didn't see it either. He only heard it. And from what he heard, it sounded a lot like Resident Evil 4's opening village scene. The village was on fire at some point, which is one of the concept arts. And I think you could hear some of the music and some of the sound effects as well. So I was just so freaking bored when I was watching it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't just keep it on for 20 minutes and listen to the stuff that I couldn't understand. So I didn't really listen to all the sound effects and stuff like that. And so CVX Freak has a good little recap if you scroll back on his thing. And the other big question that I didn't even realize. Like when they go Resident Evil Village is coming out, I just assume PS4, Xbox, whatever the Xbox is. And apparently that's not the original plan, but the Capcom says they're thinking about it. I think just from a business standpoint, I don't know how hard it is from a technology standpoint to develop something for 5 and then move it to 4. Would they do that at launch? Would they do it like a few months later? Would it take extra time? But I feel like they're doing the fans a disservice if they go to PS5, because who wants to spend whatever $500 on a PS5, right when it comes out? I don't know. What's the ad? When do you guys buy a console? Do you buy it the day it comes out? Do you buy it the year it comes out? Do you buy it when the first game you want to play comes out? Or do you usually get it like 3 years later? And the people who are slow to adapt to the new console actually get the cooler, more unique games, specifically on Nintendo systems. So when they make a game and it's on Wii and it's also on Cube, everybody has it on Wii, and then the Cube ones become more valuable. That's just something I've noticed from my years of collecting games and stuff. What's up, Residents of Evil? Yeah, we got a whole new set up here. Switching over to the Village. Do I think Infinite Darkness and RE8 will tie in? Let's talk about that in a minute. But I would say, since the characters appear to be different, no. But maybe they have that like after the credits are over or something like that. Marvelous said bought PS4 day one. Mario says a few months after launch. Yeah, I got the PlayStation 4 the day Resident Evil 7, or maybe 2 days after Resident Evil 7 was announced. PS3, like my roommate had it, and I didn't get one till later. I usually think, maybe 6 months later. But also Xbox. I always put up PlayStation just because that's just got more people, and I don't feel like it's always saying Xbox. But when I say PlayStations, I mean Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. And now there's all these other systems that are streaming and cloud, and I don't know, maybe I need to retire from video games and just play Final Fantasy VII Original and Resident Evil 2 Original the rest of my life and not get caught up in the new ones. No, I'm just kidding. We got to play it. Okay, so there was also some new gameplay shown as well. And by gameplay, I mean they showed Ethan walking around, there's a shadow that appears that kind of maybe looks like maybe it's not Ethan, maybe it's somebody else, but I don't know. Let's check this out. And I think there's no music in the background. So Ethan shows up, and the developers basically said that the castle, like it's a big level, even though maybe it doesn't look that big. But yeah, it looks like he finds a secret way into some building here. I didn't even notice there's like some tomb at the back of that. That might be a tomb. We've got a lot of Resident Evil influence here, like the mansion and like the set that we're on. Mario says, I think the shadow is Chris. I think it is too, but then I saw like a sleeve. But anyway, there's so much that happened at Tokyo Game Show. We're going to have another episode to talk about some of the theories. Who's the woman, who's the guy. We'll talk about that. I just wanted to recap the game show for this episode, and then we can talk about more theory stuff in the next one. Street says RE7 brought RE back to the roots. Happy for that. And this one, I don't know, but this one has a Code Veronica, Resident Evil 4 type of vibe to it. Alex says, "Where's Jill?" I don't even know. When's the last year we saw Jill? She was in RE5. Victor says, "Waiting for the holiday." Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna pre-order. I don't even know if you can pre-order this system, but unless unless this game is randomly released right after. All right, so another thing that was in the developer interview was this comment, and then I guess you can't really see it. Let's see if you can see it there. Damn you, table. It says letting you plan, face, and overcome obstacles as if you were there in person. And they're focused on expanding those aspects compared to 7. And this has been the headline if you type in Resident Evil news from Tokyo Game Show. Basically, everybody's saying it's an open world type of game. And I wouldn't say that. It sounded like when, just from these quotes, I mean, and these are translations as well, that there might be different ways to do things. Remember in Resident Evil 4, you could go left or right. It was very basic. You could pick a side, or you could do both, or you could backtrack. There were a couple places you could, or at least one place you could backtrack and find some secrets. Resident Evil 7, I mean, there were some things you could avoid in Resident Evil 7, but we'll see if there's maybe different paths where you don't have to do everything, or there's different ways to go through the game. And that's kind of, you'll see those articles on those game rant sites, and I think IGN did one as well about how it's going to be a more open world, but they just see what we see. So actually anybody could be, in terms of this story, anybody could be the journalist, because all you got to do is read one quote. Like, they didn't actually talk to the Capcom people, which I need to learn more about how video game media works, but I always thought that they had a direct line. They could ask questions to the developers and stuff, but I don't think that happens. I think certain ones there's either like a big press junket thing where they all get the same info, and then Famitsu gets sometimes some special articles, or some other media does, but yeah, nothing really much on Resident Evil. And then Famitsu, the latest article was just about this video. So they didn't even get an interview this time. A lot of times Famitsu will get an interview around the Tokyo Game Show and some other things. So unless I missed it, there was no new direct interview from them, and they usually get that. And compared to 7, I'm trying to think on Resident Evil 7 what some of the choices were. I mean, there weren't many choices or many different ways to do things, I don't think. And then here are just some of the scenes. You know, it's just cool. Every screenshot for me is just cool, because we don't know what this game's about. And Resident Evil 2 and 3 are awesome games, the originals, and the remakes were fun, but this is so much fun because it's just a brand new thing. And then you'll notice here Ethan's hand is bandaged, and he had a vampire sucking the blood or something. Mia chopped his hand off once. Who knows? But he's constantly getting that left hand messed up. And a couple people can't see the fingers on the hand, and they think his fingers might have come off, like maybe from torture from Chris or something. But you also can't see all the fingers. And I went to every single screenshot of when he's crawling here, and you can't tell. And then that just when we watched this 5 minutes ago, I noticed that it looks like it's a tomb. It looks like there's like a statue over there, but it's like a coffin statue. So this might be like he might sneak in through the basement or the tomb, and that's, again, it's a good sign for horror. As somebody said, Street said. Mayhay says, wonder if we'll get an Apple Watch. The inventory screen is like a briefcase, like Resident Evil 4, at least the outline of it, and the slots are inside of it, and there's a bar of health that's green with like cells floating through it, so I don't think there's going to be a watch again. But I don't think Ethan started the game he didn't start with that watch. They put it on him when he got captured and taken to dinner, and that, don't get me started on why they didn't just kill him. And then there's just another statue that he comes across, and there's always these little candles everywhere. And this is the lobby like we're in right now. Again, so one thing I haven't seen is they usually will see like an item around, and I don't One of the translations I saw when that guy played the Village demo was he said if you kill an enemy, you get an item. And I don't know if he got the item that the enemy dropped, and that was how that's how he obtained the shotgun or something, a special item, or if the items are going to appear when you kill an enemy instead of just be laying around like in RE7. I haven't seen them in the screenshots. Usually we'll find like the shells or some like the bullets. I might have seen an herb in one of the turns, and then there's also they basically were like, maybe there's a character you can buy stuff from. Wink. So they basically confirmed there's a merchant in the game. And we've seen in the end of the trailer, he's got big fat cheeks. And he's like, window shopping. And it sounds like the Wesker voice. That guy appears to be the merchant. And there are coins. We've seen that or there's currency. We've seen that in the still shot of the screen. And then, yeah, they basically did the wink on the message. And Little Fishy with the $5 super chat. What if we find Barry retired at the village? The nightmare came back to haunt him. So, I don't know. Why would Barry go to the village? Barry likes his guns. He likes to go to the gun range. He's got a family. Now, does that mean Barry's not going to be in the game? I don't know. Maybe Barry's one of the 3 guys that attacks. But, I mean, I'd like them to bring back Barry. We also got to see some of this concept art, and you can see the village on fire, and that was talked about. So I think that somehow the village catches on fire here in this demo. And you see the zombies. They're kind of wolfy, but also caveman-like. And so a werewolf is a person that turns into a wolf and then turns back into a person. So they have some wolf G virus in them or whatever virus and some wolf in them, but I wouldn't call them like a werewolf because they're more like wolf creatures or wolf zombies or just hairy zombies. And I did not go into the lore of werewolves, and I'm not super interested in that, so I don't have any background on all the in-depth information on werewolves and wolfmen and stuff like that. So you guys can help me out with that one. And then the bottom over there, people were like, ooh, it's the witch and someone else. I think it's just the villagers there. And again, this is concept art, so it's not necessarily in the game. And we'll do that in a minute. So the other thing we need to talk about, because that guy did play the demo, we know because we saw his face. Ooh. I like how they put a black screen on the back of the TV. So yeah, every game had a demo, right? Resident Evil 3, yeah. 3 had a demo, 2 had a demo, 7 had the best demo. We're thinking the demo is gonna happen. It's just a question of when's it gonna happen. I think they need a release date first. But there's obviously a playable demo here. He played in the village. He played against some enemies. He got some weapons. He used some of the environment to protect himself. And this might be one that we would be able to play at some point. They also have different versions of these demos that we never see, that they give to certain play testers or that they play within their own company and stuff like that. So I keep saying stuff like that. I watched this podcast where this guy kept saying, and stuff like that. And I just was like, oh my God, he keeps saying that. And now I'm saying it, and it's crazy. Let's get some hype in the chat for Street Diamonds 999 plot twist. The Chris you saw is Barry under the Mission Impossible. Oh my God, if they do Mission Impossible masks, that would be ridiculous. By the way, if you're enjoying the stream, be sure to click on the thumbs up. We just hit 200 people up in this mug. Welcome to the Village Mansion. Not sure exactly where this is going to be, if this is the entrance to the castle, if it's a house outside the castle. But, yeah, we're going to add to this scene over the course of the excitement and add some new Easter eggs and stuff like that. I just said it again. The other thing I added here was the bobblehead, which is the football player down there. And It's not going to be a football player in this one. The football player was supposed to be like Jack Baker or something, or so they'll have something else. So the thing I hate the most is Resident Evil 4, the blue medallions, and that might be in 5 and 6 as well, or at least in 5. I don't like that. I like the bobbleheads, the Mr. Raccoons, all that stuff. So I hope they add some of that to our thing. Thank you, Rafa. All right, where were we? Okay, well now, oh God. So this is the part that a lot of people like and a lot of people don't like. While this is playing, this is the storybook. You guys can leave some emojis on your feelings about this storybook. And yeah, so just drop your emojis in there about how this storybook makes you feel. And there might not be audio with this either. Yep, no audio. It's just, I'll do the audio. It's just a local tale. Shut up, Mia. A young girl goes in the woods with her mother, and then she runs away. Chris? So this is very, like, it's cool. I mean, I don't think it's going to detract away from the story or anything. It's just a side thing. It's not like the game is that, you know? Stevie's got a kind of a poison face. Fishy's got a, you know, no expression. Dynamo says starstruck. Graham with the thumbs up. Mel with the peace and the glasses. Key with the thumbs up. Misfit with the cringe. Marvelous with the laughing. Rick with the monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Mayhe with the, I don't know what that is. Is that a middle finger? That looks like one of those new YouTube ones. Natty with the glasses. Miz with the laughing. Angela with the laughing. Rafa with the vomiting. So here's what the developers kind of had. Again, this is my interpretation of what they said, but basically that this book is going to tell us, it's going to relate to the story that Ethan is having somehow. And they're going to possibly not, this won't just be in the intro. I think throughout, as we progress, maybe Ethan, you know, takes a nap, and then we get to watch the next chapter of The Village of Shadow. Maybe they do it in chapters, but it's going to all tie together to the story of the game. And so far in the game, we've got a Chris, Ethan, Mia storyline. That's happening in the present. We have some kind of past event that happened in the village with the baby. So that's a second storyline that's happening in the past. We've got this village storybook that's probably going to be more like that village story, maybe in a cartoon form. And then we've got the present-day village people, YMCA, Macho Man, and they're doing the cult stuff. But yeah, it looked like in the original trailer that some of them were younger and then they were older, so there's a flashback or something like that. And yeah, I think this is, and then the other thing that this could be is you might save your game in this book. I don't know if there'd be a typewriter or you save at the merchant, or if you save inside this book, or if you have to find these books. So Venom Vlog had this theory last video we did about maybe it's like the videotapes in Resident Evil 7 where you don't have to read them, or you can read them and maybe you get a trophy. So many possibilities on that. Street Diamond, another $4.99. They named Mia because, yeah, she's missing in action. Correct. They named her because all she wanted to do was... I forgot the actual words from that song. And then this was something I tweeted, and people get so offended. I said, imagine you go back in time to 1996, and you meet yourself in 1996, and your young self says, oh my gosh, 2021, what's Resident Evil going to be like? And then you show them this picture. And if you don't think that's funny, you don't know how to laugh at yourself. So, and Venom says, named after the main character in Evil Dead. I think there's a bunch of different meanings that go into a bunch of different of these characters. But yeah, people are like, it's just part of the game. I'm like, dude, it's a joke, man. I like Resident Evil. It's fun. But can we laugh at it? Please. And then this, I don't know what this is. Okay. The other thing that they announced here at the Tokyo Game Show was this new CG movie called Infinite Darkness. I'm not going to show the whole trailer. I'll probably get a strike. And this is not a movie as we once. So basically, what happened was that Saturday night, Netflix Portugal jumped the gun and posted the trailers for this early because my guess was they didn't know the time zones. It's really confusing to do the time zone stuff. So everyone just saw that trailer, and we didn't know if it was a series or a movie. So everyone was like, "Here's a new movie." But it turns out it's an original anime series. It's called Infinite Darkness. It stars Leon and Claire Bear, and it's coming in 2021 to Netflix. The people who made it, there's Claire. That's what she looks like. A lot of people are commenting how young she is. And then that's Leon, who looks young there, and that's a zombie. Leon looked a little old. I don't know. Does he look older there? There's another close-up picture where he looks a little older. So I was originally, before I saw this photo up close, I thought, okay, maybe Claire's in the past, Leon's in the future, and it's one of those movies. But maybe not. And zombies are in it. And this guy, he's in charge of this, or he's a part of this, and I looked him up on IMDb. He's been a producer on like every Resident Evil live action movie, on like almost every CG movie. He does all that kind of stuff. So they do have a Resident Evil guy involved in this. It's not like the other show, the Wesker's Daughter show, which I think was written as just a horror thing, and then they glommed onto the Resident Evil brand. I don't think it was written specifically for Resident Evil, but maybe it was. I don't know. But anyway, so this guy did Vendetta, and the studio that's doing the Infinite Darkness, they did Vendetta. So if you guys saw Resident Evil Vendetta, did you like the style of that? Because it's the same CG company is doing this show. They didn't really reveal anything about the plot or anything. They just said Leon's here, Claire's here. They're going to discover something Resident Evil fans have never seen, which they say at every thing. But they're going to... I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. But in the timeline, we don't know... People were assuming it's canon as well, and I don't know how they would see it, if it is or not. I believe the movies are, but they don't typically connect too much to the actual games. And the assumption is this is kind of a sequel to Vendetta. I didn't see Vendetta. I heard at the end there's some kind of cliffhanger where they're like saying, there's going to be another sequel, but then this is a TV show, not a movie. So maybe this is not in line with the movies. Maybe the sequel to Vendetta comes in the future, and this is just a side story because it's a series and not a movie. A lot of questions on this, and I did 2 tweets on this that got more response than anything I've ever tweeted ever. Any secret we discovered, or like this has the most, so... People are super excited about it, and I think part of it was the Wesker's Daughter news. And by the way, I read up on the Wesker's Daughter thing and who's involved in it and stuff, and it actually made me more, okay, let's see what they can do with that. Because there's I'm getting a CW vibe, I'm getting an art, whatever that show is with Archie, and that's the vibe I'm getting for the Wesker Daughters. Like, it's like a teen show. But, I don't know, sometimes, don't tell anyone, but maybe I get involved in those. But yeah, no release date on this, just 2021 again. And that's kind of the recap there for the Tokyo Game Show. Anything else that you guys saw on the game show thing? So just to kind of recap the whole show, we've got a couple more things to talk about here in a minute, in the last 10 minutes of the show. But I just want to recap the game show. So Friday night, they had a little panel with Pete and the other guy. And they basically told us things we already knew. Resident Evil's scary. there's a village. The village is a character. And then they played a developer video, which is now out in different languages and stuff, so you can watch that. It's worth watching. We went over all the key points, but there was stuff. It was a 2 or 3 minute video, so we went over the key 30 seconds of it. And that showed us a little bit of walking gameplay, and it told us maybe there's some choices you have to make, or more open worldness, and I hate using more open world. That's not what I mean, but and then they talked about the storybook, and then the second day a guy played it. A guy played the RE8 demo, and they didn't show the screen, and people were I watched the replay of it, and the chat is still up, and it's like people are just like, why aren't they showing the gameplay? So that was kind of funny. So we didn't learn much from that, except a couple of things that we talked about, with maybe there's a shotgun and some classic sounds and new soundtrack. And the other thing I want to do, while we got 228, by the way, if you're enjoying the show, click on that thumbs up. Don't forget the thumbs up. Let's get to 100. And I wanted to talk about this, because this is the fun part for me. This is let's look into all these puzzles way too much. Like they probably just randomly picked 4 things, but I'm like, what are the meanings? How do we know? What are we doing? What's a mermaid? How does a horse ride a mermaid with the sun? So I like to look at this kind of stuff and try to solve mysteries that maybe don't even exist. Let's see here. So this has got the umbrella logo on it. So it's obviously an umbrella connection to RE8. And it's got 4 symbols on there. We've got the mermaid, we've got the horse, we've got the sun and the moon, and then we've got something else. People think it's the Code Veronica symbol, which is an eagle carrying an axe. People think it's a knight in shining armor. A bunch of different things. People think it's a wolf. It's just hard to tell because it's back in the bokeh blurry section. Street Diamonds with the $5 again. They had to nerf Chris after the world witnessing him punching boulders in RE5. Well, in RE6, he was actually on TV, right? In the beginning. I don't think anybody saw him punch the boulder except for Wesker. This will be a puzzle, and we'll probably have to find the 4 things or something like that. And there's a kind of a closer look at the question mark tablet. It looks like a Furby to me. And then that thing is in it. And basically it could be the symbols of the different families or some connections. What were the different ones? So a mermaid protects you against disease, an umbrella disease. A horse protects you against evil, and there's evil. A sun protects you against the sun and moon. It's like balance that could protect you. So maybe there are 4 things that you protect people against. Natty says, looks like a knight on a horse. Max thinks it's a wolf. Let me know here in the chat. Kai says a kind of bug. It could be, yeah. It looks like a hairy spider, maybe. It looks like it has 4 legs, but maybe it's a 3D coming at us instead, and it's just a head or something. But the Spencer family, there's an eagle medal, and it's an blue, not metal. It's like a blue stone in Code Veronica with an eagle holding an axe. And that's one of the family symbols for the Spencer family. Or no, the Ashford family, sorry. So there, is that the Ashford family logo? Also, the woman who's a vampire in the show, in the game, she wears a necklace that has a symbol that might be that symbol. And then on her door behind her, we talked about this in the last episode, but I don't have the slides up right now, is the same symbol. So maybe I can pull up the old. Yeah, that's going to be complicated. Ms. says she sees a bird. I can see it, but a hairy bird. I don't know, a feathery bird. But again, this is just it's just really poorly done. And then we'll go back. This is what it actually looks like. And what I've done is tried to enhance it. I CSI'd it, and I was like, enhance, which is not even possible. but I made it a little more clear, but also made it a little more harder to see. So the image has been shifted in perspective, as you can see in the background there. It's flatter, and now it's less flat. So it has been distorted as well. But it's easier to see it up there where it kind of looks like a turkey chicken up there. And like we said before, the next update is coming this winter, and we don't know what that means. Ergi says it's a werewolf. Amel says like a spoon underneath a chicken. The Plagueis virus. Max says a frog. I saw a bunch of real frogs today. It was actually scary. I was at this house, and they had like a really small pond, but like 50 frogs live in that pond. They've like taken it over. It's kind of scary. And yep, it's very blurry. It was taken from this. That's all we have on that. And then let me try to pull up that previous episode. You know what? I don't even know how to do it. So yeah. Anybody else have any? So next episode of the Theory Chat Show. This is a show that we do as the game comes. After any big news breaks, we'll do a show to recap the news, and then every once in a while we'll do an episode where we talk about theories. Is Alex Wesker in the game? Is Daniel Fabrone in Fabi? I don't even know his name in the game. Who's the vampire hunter guy? Oh man, there's so much. Is Mia faking her own death? Is Chris Wesker? There's a lot of different things. And once I get like a lot of thoughts together, we'll come out with different ones. But we'll do another episode and talk about less about the Tokyo Game Show stuff, which is to me is more of the boring stuff. Like, oh, this is what the developer has to say. They made the game. They're trying to sell the game. They're giving us their insight on it, but it's more like a marketing insight. So they're like, it's scarier than RE7, and then when RE9 comes out, it's scarier than RE8. They'll just keep saying it's scarier than the previous one. That's just like natural marketing. And no details on the boss fight, but the guy who played it said there was like a mini boss fight or some strong enemy that killed him a couple times, and then I think he did actually kill the guy. But I think that would just be, it's probably just a bigger zombie wolf guy. Top left, wood sacrifice. I don't know. Anyway, so thank you for watching Theory Chat. It's we do an hour episode of these, so we're coming up on the hour. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a thumbs up on your way out. Be sure to leave a comment if you have any thoughts. I've been reading the comments. I haven't been responding to all of them. And then, of course, on Twitter and Facebook, we're getting a lot of cool people respond to that. So you can, it's kind of building like a community there where people are talking to each other. And then I can chime in every once in a while, too. And I don't know who knocked on my door in the beginning, and it scared the crap out of me, and nobody was outside. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later, evil dudes, and bye, Amanda.